Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be going over a section for GCSE in Development Dynamics, which is Unit 1, and I'm going to be looking at population change and development. So I'm going to be looking at how levels of development increasing changes the population pyramid and changes the population as a country develops. So this is linked to our kind of demographic transition model, but I'm really going to go over like section 1, stage 1 and stage 4, and I'm just going to look at how increase in GDP, etc. Changes the population. So this first pyramid you can see at the bottom is a nice pyramid shape, and this is Malawi. Malawi is a low-income country and it's got a very youthful population, as you can see from the bottom. We've got a very wide base. Then as we go further up the pyramid, it gets more narrow until we get to the very top, and there's very few people here. So when a country is very poor, the birth rates are very high because people can't afford contraception. The working population is quite small because the death rate is high, and there's not a lot of people at the top because again the death rate is high because healthcare spending is very low. So Malawi turns out to be a very nice pyramid shape as a normal population pyramid. So what happens as the country develops, it says here, as the GDP increases and our country develops, and that will be because we've moved from primary industry like agriculture to secondary industry like manufacturing, and that's due to TNC investment, it's due to FDI. You can check out another couple of the videos if you want to know a little bit more about FDI, etc. And the country changes from agriculture to manufacturing. So the people earn a bit more money, the government therefore earns a little bit more money in taxes. Okay, so our number 3 here says an increase in wealth. So the wealth of the country increases, and this leads to an increase in taxes. So taxes spent to the government improves. So what happens because of that? So what happens there is that death rates begin to fall. Okay, we've got spending on clean water, we've got spending maybe on vaccinations, we've got spending on healthcare because we've got an increase in taxes. So the death rate begins to decrease and the overall population starts to increase. Now, also life expectancy starts to rise because people aren't dying, and infant mortality starts to decrease as we get immunisations, etc. So the overall population starts to increase. So the very first thing that happens when a country gets richer is that the death rate decreases and the life expectancy increases. So that's what's happening there. What happens after that, a little bit more slowly, is that the birth rate begins to fall. Now, the birth rate doesn't begin to fall for a little while because from a cultural point of view, that country, the people there is still culturally acceptable to have more children. So it takes a little while for the birth rate to decline. But over time, as women become more educated, because more money has also been spent on education, women start to go to school more, or girls start to go to school more. Women start to get educated and have jobs, and the birth rate starts to decline quite rapidly sometimes. So the role of women has changed, but this is a little bit further down the line. Okay, so the first thing that happens is death rates decrease because healthcare is better, and then slowly over time, a few decades, we've got a decrease in birth rate. Okay, fertility rates decrease. That means the average age of women having children. So in a very poor country, girls may start having children at 14, 15 and carry on having children till they're 35 or 40. But as more opportunities arise for women as that country gets richer, then the fertility rate falls and women start having children later. And maybe like in the UK, for example, the average age of people having children, women, is maybe 32, 33, maybe a little bit later. So the fertility rates decrease. So the overall population, the overall birth rates start to decline, but because death rates have declined as well, people are living longer, the overall population starts to increase. And what starts to happen is we start to move into a population pyramid like this shape. So the birth rates are decreasing, so the bases get narrower. People are living longer, so the middle section gets fatter, and then it gets taller because less people are dying at the top. Okay, so that's what's happening there. The overall life expectancy is increasing, infant mortality is decreasing, birth rates are decreasing, and death rates are decreasing as well. So the population pyramid changes shape to a kind of a barrel shape, I suppose. So people are also the government's also spending more money on education, and school years increase, and literacy rates increase, and especially for women. Okay, so that leads the overall population to increase, and the overall shape of the pyramid changes as well. So overall, we can see that development changes the population. So the population becomes bigger, birth rates decline, and we get lots and lots of people in this middle section of the pyramid and more people at the top. So we change from a pyramid shape to a barrel shape, and that's because the country is becoming more developed. So that is our link between population and development and the shapes of the pyramids.